So what have you been up to?
Anyway, I was thinking of what do you want to call this then? Morecambe and Wise, Cannon and Ball, or Crockett and Tubbs?
Oh, Crockett and Tubbs.
It's got to be Crockett and Tubbs, hasn't it?
Which one are you?
Well, you beat me to the punchline. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I was going to do that was my next line, but you got there first.
I like comedy because comedy is a way of, it's a parody of life, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it's the last frontier comedy. I think, if they take away your right to be funny, this world's going to be a terrible place, mate, because it's the last frontier. And this is why, we spoke about it in the past. Having a sense of humor is so important, not just from enjoying yourself, but from a resilience point of view. I mean, some of the stuff that I'm sure you laughed at and I laughed at when we were in the military, I mean, you'd probably be put on a firing squad for it now.
Oh, gosh. Absolutely.
But it helped you cope,
Well, I think, it's something you're particularly strong about, but, we should all be reading and doing a lot more around, isn't it? Mindset themselves.
Yeah.
And there is a balance, and we all get it. Of course, there's a balance. I mean, over the weekend, you had a game, getting into your backgrounds and your backstories, I was in the army, etc., etc. I enjoyed it, thoroughly worked for me, but, I also feel the need to put a but in there now. I get it's not everybody's cup of tea. I understand that.
The thing is, you're referring to things like meditation and mindfulness, not everyone's cup of tea.
No, it wasn't even that. It was, from the link from the bullying perspective, though, army and bullying, bullying, or let's say robust stroke bullying, if you follow, yeah? Because depending, again, on people's views, perspectives, but your point about, you need the humor, you need a good sense of humor from time to time, don't you, to have that resilience?
Yeah.
Whilst I respect it's not everybody's cup of tea, and I understand, it's difficult, but in certain environments, or if you go and see comedians, to a degree, you kind of, what's happening, don't you, in the scripts?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you get, Billy Connely coined it brilliantly once. He said that he gets complaint letters from people. He said, and they'll be at home. He said that they'll never come to one of my concerts, he said, because they hate me. He said, well, they'll turn the telly on at home and they'll sit there and they'll go, oh, look, it's that bloke Connolly on telly again. So the partner will come and sit next to them and go, oh, God, I hate him. He said, and they're watching me on telly. He said, all they got to do is turn it over. I'm gone. Yeah. He said, but they don't do that. He said, and then they go and sit in front of the computer and write me an email telling me how much they hate me. And they send me an email. He said, and I don't answer it. He said, I don't answer it because they're stupid. He said, all they got to do is turn over. Now, we've got, I don't know, how many channels are there on TV now if you've got...
Oh, gosh, I've lost... I can't remember.
Hundreds. Why would you sit there watching something you don't want to watch? And then complain about it? Which is, to me, is the equivalent of going in a restaurant and saying, listen, have you got any crap food that's gone off? Yeah, I fancy eating something bad and complaining about it. This doesn't make any sense. On this thing, though, you think about it. Think about, I mean, I had this again in the last few weeks. Someone rang me up and said, Mark, can I ask your opinion about something? I said, yeah, sure. I like it when people ring up. I like having a chat. And I said to him, if you tell me something funny, then I'm going to use it. And he told me something funny, so I'm going to use it. He said, I've been on a training course, he said, and I absolutely hated it. He said that it was terrible training. The trainer didn't know what he was talking about. He said, and when we were asking questions, he said, we were shot down. He said, obviously, he said, I don't think the trainer had the answers. He said, so we were told to be quiet and just, get on with it. Right. But he said, and he kept saying, I mean, this is 2022, for goodn's sake. He kept saying, you could fail this course, if you don't do the technique properly, you could fail this course. And the bloke in the end turned around and said, look, if you keep on telling me I'm going to fail this course, I probably will fail it. And he went, well, then I'd be right. You think? So I said to the guy, I said, what did you do? He said, well, I just kept my head down and got through the course. I said, do you ask for your money back? He said, are you entitled to do that? I went, yeah. I said, there's loads of acts to protect you. I said, if I go and buy a washing machine, I said, from whatever it is now, Curry's or whatever, I said, and I get it home and it doesn't fit. I said, I don't like it, take it back. I said, my wife will go into Marks and Spencer's and buy a dress. She won't try it on. She'll bring it home and then go, oh, it doesn't fit, I don't like it. She takes it back. I said, you get your money back. There's no difference with training. But, I said, you should have asked for your money back. And this is the best bit. He went, I didn't want to upset him.
Oh, no.
So you spent the whole day being upset, and you didn't want to upset him.
Well, isn't that, and again, all right, so we're smiling, not being critical of that person, but it's the kind of frustration, the slight embarrassment, the fact that, and if I can call it, it's a kind of, I still think to a degree, it's a kind of British kind of custom, isn't it? We don't like to say anything for fear of offending.
Yeah, but if you're being offended, say something.
Oh, no, absolutely right. But it's just it's just almost, it's mad. It's almost ironic, isn't it? The service we're getting is poor, but we don't want to say anything about it because we might offend them, even though we're massively offended in the first instance.